Welcome back to the Online Meeting Survival Guide. We're now going to move into how to host a captivating webinar. Beyond an online meeting, this is getting a little bit more public. Larger groups presenting information in a webinar format. Everyone loves webinars. We've all been on webinars. Let's talk about how to host a captivating one. Okay, so hosting a captivating webinar, somewhere on your journey, you're going to be asked to either join a webinar or host a webinar. Webinars are like online meetings, except now we have participants and panelists that are a little bit different from another. So webinars are online meetings, but they generally feature one or more participants or panelists who are making a presentation to a large group. Webinars require much less attendee participation than a regular meeting. Therefore, more focused attention on the presentation quality is required for webinar hosts. Webinars, by standard definition, are generally an hour-long format. It's important to keep in mind that people are busy. And so webinars with their hour-long format usually easily fit into the schedules of interested parties. And they leave a webinar that does not engage their interests within just a few minutes. People know that it's going to take a little while to get into a good webinar. Almost all webinars are recorded and made available for those who registered but didn't make it. So some companies are using webinar platforms to generate leads by gating access to the content. While this may seem advantageous, and maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but over the long term, what we've learned is the lack of additional exposure that is gained via social media actually becomes a bottleneck. And that's why we do think that live streaming your systems, your webinars to social media is really important. Now, Zoom sessions are great for power users, and we found that there's a great middle ground in which you can live stream your webinars on social media and still offer a gated Zoom session for power users. In our most recent broadcast, we use Zoom meetings to bring people in as a form of two-way communications inside a larger one-way broadcast that's enhanced by our telling capabilities considerably because we use video production software to go into Zoom. And it has also created a collaboration space for our audience that includes the most important group presence that makes the learning experience come alive. On the other hand, webinar platforms offer many important features that make them worthwhile for important events. For example, the raise the hand feature easily helps webinar moderators find interested participants who want to ask questions. Other Q&A and polling features truly make webinar packages designed for a high level of learning and audience engagement. Content is always king when it comes to delivering an engaging webinar. If you have a good pulse on what your audience responds to, you can actually get your best content ideas from questions that you receive in webinars and turn that into topics for future webinars. Instead of focusing on those upfront lead generation, focus on content and the value that you plan to deliver on your webinar, and make sure you're getting it out on social media, whether it's posted after the fact or live streamed in essence. Yes, you should consider how you're going to educate your attendees, but more importantly, how are you going to deliver the value inside of the time limits that are set up by a webinar? So by increasing your webinar presentation quality, you can grow your audience organically. As you continue to create webinars with high presentation quality, the replay value will increase, which will also grow your overall audience. You will start to see viewers commenting on your YouTube video recordings of your webinars and seeing that they're being shared on Facebook and other platforms. An increased focus on the value of your content will make your webinars have a longer shelf life. A great tool in almost any area of an organization's communication plans is outbound webinars. And depending on how you position your webinar, it could become a great tool in almost any area of an organization's communication plan. Webinars can attract new prospects, engage existing customers, and build relationships in the middle of a sales funnel. When you focus on the quality of your webinar content, your communication goals become much easier to achieve. So that is why we believe you should be thinking about webinars. We have a lot of great information on how to live stream webinars and make them more interactive. So those are my other Udemy courses, really go over that. But for this webinar, tutorial. I hope that it was successful for you to kind of structure why webinars are important and how you can get more engaging with them. Let's get on to our next presentation. Here we go.